In an organizational sense, the reality of the word woke is that it almost has to be secondary. We've had this whole narrative for 10 years now that millennials want to buy from purposeful and socially conscious brands. That's true at some level, and it's why Jessica Alba got rich selling fancy ass diapers to new moms in fancy subdivisions. But again, a lot of people go to Walmart for produce because it's cheaper, even though I think most of us generally know that Walmart is not woke and not socially conscious. We do things because they are logical to us and fit within our means and needs at the time, and not because woke is the altar we all need to worship at. If you lead a silo at a company, it's much more important to clarify monthly revenue and make sure that you clear it every month than to be woke, because by clearing monthly revenue, you provide the necessary avenues for these discussions and actions around social justice to even happen. If everyone is broke and trying desperately to be one of the 20,000 applicants to get a job at Tesla, no one has the resources to advance any discussion. And in fact, I can tell you, having been broke several times in the past 10 years, being broke makes you utterly selfish and focused almost entirely on self. You don't really even have time for wokeness. For a little bit in there, when people were still worried about Trump's legal situation and whether he was electable again, it seemed like maybe DeSantis would become the nominee on the right. DeSantis talks about wokeness constantly, to the point that he made his entire primary campaign about wokeness at some level, and then that campaign obviously flamed out and was often ridiculed as having no clear message, and Trump decimated him and he ran back to Florida. It was a sad situation for those who thought he was the future and maybe wanted the Republican Party to get a little bit younger in terms of leadership. But perhaps the campaign was misguided because, what exactly does woke even mean? In many ways, it's the ultimate suitcase word, which means a word that carries many definitions for different people. Other examples can include purpose or mission or engagement in a work sense. These are hard to pin down concepts. Woke is the same. To some, it means a young person who hasn't understood the realities of life yet. To some, it means an irritating liberal. To some, it's an eye roll that you ignore. To some, it means social justice warriors. Here's one conventional definition, but if you want to see just how ill-defined this term is, consider this exchange from the Hills Rising show a year or so back.
That, parents of all political stripes will pick up the book. This is sort of a woke reimagining that is very, very, very far left. Only 7% of Americans consider themselves very liberal, and probably fewer of them consider themselves to be woke. And so, when we talk about traditional...
What does that mean to you? Would you mind defining woke? Because it's come up a couple times, and I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
Okay. I got into the bomb's main access panel. It says the password to this on the bomb is the definition of the word woke. Okay, get me on the phone with one of those conservatives that uses the word all the time. Pat Sharon. Okay, hey, listen. I need you to define the term woke. Let's go.
So, woke is sort of the idea that...
Come on, just give me the definition so I can punch it in. Hit me. Come on, what do I need to do?
This is going to be one of those moments that goes viral.
Woke
is something that's very hard to define, and we've spent an entire chapter defining it. It is sort of the understanding that we need to totally reimagine and redo society in order to create hierarchies of oppression.
Reimagining and redo. Didn't work. Hit me again.
Sorry, it's hard to explain in a 15-second soundbite.
You know what? I'm gonna just do it myself. This takes forever. Woke is stopping hierarchies of oppression.
So no, it does not appear there's a central definition of the word woke. Essentially, it means something that lifts up the left and annoys the right. I think that's the closest too essential definition as we will find. The last point here is that for all the societal oxygen dedicated to the word woke, it's relatively easy to make it go away. If there's a concept or idea you don't like, ignore it. You have the ability to do that. That's number one. And if you're concerned about schools being too woke during the time your kids are there, that's completely your right and your prerogative. But then, when you have your kids on mornings, nights, and weekends, you can parent a specific way to shift what you believe is the woke indoctrination of your children. Your kids are your kids. They do spend a lot of time in schools, that's true, but you can still overcome your fears of wokeness by parenting more actively. The over-focus on the word woke concerns me a little bit societally for sure. It seems like a perpetual distraction from and way to talk around the biggest issues of our time. If you're worried about the climate, you're too woke, so you can be dismissed. If you think we need a more nuanced discussion of use of force in policing, you're too woke, you can be dismissed. What's your take on it, and how would you even define the term?